It is absolutely wild times. It really, really is. And, there's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay.
Dude,
all right.
There it is. So this is the big comment. First off, there was this huge backlash after this comment. It went crazy. They put it online. It got shared. The first thing that happened, Bad Bunny came forward and immediately endorsed Kamala Harris. Because what's happening is simultaneously, while this is going on at the Madison Square Garden rally, Kamala Harris was in Philadelphia at a Puerto Rican restaurant. She unveiled an agenda for Puerto Rico, which should be a state. Puerto Rico and DC should both be states. Obviously, the Republicans don't want this because, that would be 4 more Democratic senators in more than likely, which would mean that the Republicans would never control the Senate again. So that's why there's been resistance to statehoods. But anyway, Bad Bunny, who is Puerto Rican, immediately supported Kamala Harris. So did J-Lo. So did Ricky Martin. This is like 300 million followers on Instagram between these 3 people. And they are now on the Kamala train. But now, where it gets really deep, besides those influencers' reach, is when you look at where the Puerto Rican people live. There is a huge community. Look at these states. Pennsylvania has 450,000 Puerto Rican voters. North Carolina, 100,000. Wisconsin, 65,000. Michigan, 50,000. Florida, 1.1 million Puerto Rican voters. This is huge. Now, we already have the Haitian immigrants that were accosted by Trump and J.D. Vance with the lies about eating the pets, which this fucking comedian just telegraphed that shit too. But, dude, this could swing a lot of votes Kamala Harris's way. Imagine if the Puerto Rican voters in Florida get wind of this and they're upset by some of these comments, which they should be. The Puerto Rican immigrants that live in some of these swing states and in Florida, this could be a game changer. Dude, it's really sad though, man. It's really sad. And I don't like this whole concept of like, it's just a joke, because it's not just a joke. This guy's doing politics now, and he's doing race-based politics in a political party that doesn't have a lot of race diversity in it. You go to Trump's rallies, anywhere he has a rally, it's like 98% white people, and they're all freaking out about immigration, and they're coming from these small towns that are 90% white. They don't live in places that have any kind of diversity. So this is super problematic, man. Puerto Ricans, they're fucking pissed. And I can't imagine Puerto Rican voters are going to take too kindly to this. They're not going to find this joke funny at all, bro. At this point, after this MSG rally, we know that they're just straight racism. We do. This is just straight racism. Obviously, they knew who this guy was when they put him on this stage. Now, the Republicans are doing damage control. They may lose a Senate seat in Florida because of this fucking guy. You don't understand. 1.1 million Puerto Rican voters in Florida. That's why already, if you look at Rick Scott, he immediately was panicking. This fucking piece of shit. This joke bomb for a reason. It's not funny and it's not true. Puerto Ricans are amazing people and amazing Americans. I've been to the island many times, yada, yada, yada. He instantly is doing damage control. And then the Trump campaign issued a statement later, but Trump didn't say anything from the platform. Trump spoke later, after the controversy had flared, and he said nothing. So this guy absolutely reflects on the campaign. And they're going to try and weasel out of it. But dude, the thing about this is they've just gotten so brazen. It's really, Trump has advanced so far. Think about it, guys. On Friday, Donald Trump wore the Proud Boys colors. It's like, here we are. Donald Trump went to Traverse City, Michigan, a city where there's a huge problem with the Proud Boys, and Donald Trump dressed in the Proud Boys black and gold fucking rally, dude. They are so brazen now, which is like crazy because he never wears yellow and black. He always dresses in the blue suit with the red tie at his rallies, but he wore yellow and black. And it was because his rally was in northern Michigan, in the city, Traverse City, in Grand Traverse County, Michigan, where they've had an issue. Their board of commissioners is tied to the Proud Boys. There's been a large Proud Boy faction in Traverse City. So Trump rolled up wearing Proud Boys colors to a rally to the Undertaker theme. That's like super problematic. Again, these guys are being so brazen. They're not even hiding it anymore. You know, J.D. Vance lies about Haitian immigrants eating animals using an old racist trope about black people from the slave days. They're not hiding it. Donald Trump says he wants to do his deportation thing. They want to go back to the laws from 1798 when there was slavery. I mean, they're just being so honest. They're being so honest of what they want. He's saying America was great at the turn of the century when there was 70% poverty, women couldn't vote, and black people were in and out of convict leasing programs under Jim Crow laws. The world sucked in 1900. America was horrible.
Black guy with a thing on his head? What the hell is that? A lampshade? Look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm just kidding. That's one of my buddies. He had a Halloween party last night. We had fun. We carved watermelons together. It was awesome. You guys are...
Dude, there it is again, though, right? He's talking about a black guy with a pumpkin on his head and saying they carved watermelons, which is, again, it's a fucking racist trope from, God, how long ago, right? Yeah, everybody's groaning at that because it's like, dude, what are you doing, bro? You know, but dude, we can't not look at this shit, guys. This is hugely problematic. They invited this guy. They chose this guy. Okay, this guy's not the only racist who's going to appear today. Just so we're aware of what we're dealing with, Stephen Miller is a white supremacist. He is an avowed white nationalist. He is like right out in the open. You even had congressional leaders condemning him back in 2020. They wanted him out of the White House.
We are here tonight with a message for you. In 9 days, your rescue is coming. In 9 days, your salvation is at hand. In 9 days, Donald J. Trump is going to go back to the White House.
Your rescue is coming. Your salvation is at hand. Bro, these people are f***ed up, dude.
This is a choice between betrayal and renewal, between self-destruction and salvation, between the failure of America or the triumph of America. I want you to think for
Dude, he had like one person clapping. One person clapping. Dude, do you hear that? Holy shit, bro. I could expose my at this rally and get more people clapping. Then we've got Mr. Philanderer number 2, RFK.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. Oh, Martin Luther King. Dude, f*** you, RFK. Go fucking hug a whale's head. Then we got Tucker Carlson. Jesus, dude. Then we have Hulk Hogan. Lord have mercy on their souls, bro. Dr. Phil. If you haven't seen it, you need to look at this, where he's like gaslighting. Essentially gave this speech saying, you know, Trump isn't really a bully. And he went on a DEI rant, which is ironic, of course, because, you know, the only reason anyone knows who this motherfucker is because of Oprah Winfrey. This guy, nobody knew who he was. And then a real powerful, famous black woman gave him a platform. Dude, he is so toxic. We got Laura Trump, who is now the head of the RNC. Donald Trump installed a family member as the head of the Republican Party. Dude, so gross, dude. She's had more plastic surgery, dude. Oh my God, she looks like a fucking California raisin.
When they indict you, you keep fighting. when they
How about maybe don't commit crimes so they don't indict you? Is that an option? Is there an option to not get indicted? Like maybe don't commit some fucking crimes and then you won't get indicted? You're supposed to get indicted and then do all this other shit?
take a mugshot of you, the greatest mugshot in the history of the world.
The greatest mugshot. Yikes.
You keep fighting. And
They're basically saying be criminals and keep fighting. The new Republican Party. It used to be we're the party of law and order. Now the Republican Party is commit crimes and fight, fight, fight. I'll be honest with you. I think the Trump supporters are okay with this kind of racism. I just do. They must be. They believe that if you're racist in a joke, it's okay. I think they just believe it. I would imagine the minorities, it's similar to spanking. And you're like, what do you mean by that? Okay, so if you look at people who are spanked, the University of Texas did a 50-year study following kids who were spanked. And what they discovered is what we kind of already knew, that if you hit your kids, it traumatizes them. And then the way the kids cope is usually in one of two ways. One way is they're like, oh my God, this is horrifying. I can't believe my parents did this to me. And they go out and they heal the trauma. The other way is people who insist the spanking was good for them and that anybody who couldn't handle it is just weak and that they benefited from it and it made them better and they got it because they deserved it. And those people go and end up hitting their own kids as adults and they pass the trauma on down the line. So I imagine with the people of color in the Trumpism thing is kind of the same mechanism where they too are like horrified by racism and they know it exists. But part of their coping mechanism is to be like, you know, it's not really as bad as the Democrats say, and we're too sensitive about it. That's why. So they might even be people of color who are okay with racist jokes because they think being okay with racist jokes means they've evolved beyond the racism. I believe it is a similar style of coping mechanism where they're masking the pain by not being sensitive. When in fact, that's a really common coping mechanism. When something is very traumatizing, they act like it's not harmful at all. Like they're immune to it. Oh, I'm fine. This ain't hurting me. And also though, if you are a person of color that then joins into the Republican Party, then you also get to be the good person of color. It allows them to then separate themselves from the bad people of color, which in a way, it grants people of color a little bit of the power of whiteness. That's why sometimes people of color will align with the white supremacy.
Where are my proud Latinos at tonight?
Oh,
you guys see what I mean? It's wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible. Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this.
It's kind of ironic, too, because Elon Musk is going to be speaking at this after this guy. And he came here illegally, right? Dude, isn't that crazy? Like, that's wild, right?
It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies, too. Just know that.
Jesus.
They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They come inside, just like they did to our country. Republicans are the party with a good sense of humor. Free speech is under attack, people.
Yeah, dude, I don't really see that the racist jokes are the sense of humor. That's not actually a sense of humor. If your joke base has to rely upon age-old racist tropes in order to be funny, that's like really lazy. I think one of the things that's really important to notice here is just how open they're being with this white nationalist shit. You know what I'm saying? They're so open with it. Using the racist dog whistles. They're not holding back anymore.
American patriots, you're with me. We're all together. We've always been together.
Oh, yeah, you're with the Patriots. Except not those Antichrist Democrats or those demonic women or those horrible Puerto Ricans, right? And everybody else that you guys have insulted on the way up here.
And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago?
All right, that's the question that he leads into. So let's roll back to 4 years ago. 4 years ago, October of 2020. All right, there were mass graves. Everybody was out of work. We were quarantined. Thousands of people were dying every day. There was a lot of uncertainty. You couldn't buy toilet paper. There was a lack of food and shit in many areas. We were filled with uncertainty of how long it was going to last, what was going to happen. Now, at that time also, is the previous president, Obama, his administration had gone through the Ebola pandemic. So they had left this guy, Donald Trump, a manual, a pandemic sort of like, toolkit of like, hey, here's helpful things we learned when Ebola kicked our ass. And this will help you should something like that arise. Trump took that whole pandemic toolkit and just chucked it. He threw it in the trash. He closed the office associated with it. So therefore, America was totally unprepared because he didn't want to continue anything that the black man did before him. And not only that, 4 years ago was that happening, but he was going to these press conferences telling us it's going to be over soon. The warm weather's going to kill it. Screaming at reporters, telling them it's a nasty question. We later found out he was giving the testing machines to Vladimir Putin for personal use instead of frontline American hospitals. He was threatening to withhold resources from blue cities, people who disagreed with him politically. He was creating controversy every single day. And not only that, he was in court during the pandemic. His administration went to court. They went to the Supreme Court and tried to end the Affordable Care Act. They tried to gut our health insurance during the fucking pandemic. This fucking guy, bro. Oh my God, dude. What a fucking piece of shit. And like, we're better off. And we'll be even better off when we kick this motherfucker to the curb, dude.
Today with a message of hope for all Americans.
A message of hope for all Americans.
With your vote in this election,
that's believable.
I will end inflation. I will stop the invasion of criminals coming into our country.
Jesus.
And I will bring back the American dream. We need the
American dream.
Dream to come back home. Our country will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before.
I'm not buying it.